Okay, let's dive right in. We are going to unpack a verdict that didn't just grab headlines, it sent absolute shockwaves through the very exclusive, high-stakes world of luxury real estate. This is the story of the Alexander brothers.
So, not too long ago, inside a New York federal courtroom, a jury came back with a decision. And it was unanimous. It was a decision that effectively toppled three of the city's biggest real estate brokers. The verdict? Guilty.
So, we have a guilty verdict, but who are these brothers really, and what exactly were the charges they were convicted of? Let's get into the specifics here. As you can see, it was all three of them, Tal, Oren, and Alon Alexander. The jury found them all guilty. Now, the main charge, the big one, was conspiracy to commit sex trafficking, but there were other federal sex offenses tacked on too. This wasn't a partial win for the prosecution, it was a comprehensive conviction.
Now, to really understand why this is such a huge deal, we gotta rewind the clock a little bit. You see, before all of this, before the arrest, the Alexander brothers weren't just successful brokers. No. They were basically icons, celebrities in the super cutthroat world of New York and Miami real estate.
I mean, their rise was just meteoric. All through the 2010s, Tal and Oren in particular became these huge names. By 2022, they were at the absolute peak of their game, even launching their own luxury firm. But then, as you can see right here, it all just came crashing down. December 2024, they're arrested, and that set the whole stage for this year's trial and, well, this pretty stunning conviction. And this right here, this slide really gets to the core of why this story is so jarring. On one side, you have this perfectly polished public image, luxury, success, glamour. And on the other side, some of the most severe federal charges you can even imagine. We're talking sex trafficking, violent sexual assault. The difference between those two columns is just staggering. So the big question is, how did the prosecution manage to convince a jury? Let's take a closer look at the core allegations, at what they actually argued in that courtroom. Well, right from the moment of their arrest, the prosecution's theory of the case was crystal clear. It wasn't just about the crimes themselves, it was about how they were supposedly committed. The central allegation was that the brothers literally weaponized their fame, their wealth, and their status to go after women. And the case wasn't built on a single incident or a one-time mistake. No, the prosecution painted this picture of a calculated, long-term pattern of abuse. The indictment itself claimed there was a conspiracy that they lured, drugged, and violently assaulted multiple women over a period of years. But look, documents and evidence can only take you so far in a trial like this. The real, emotional core of the prosecution's case rested on the incredibly powerful testimony from the women who actually came forward to tell their stories. When you boil it all down, the prosecution's case really hinged on one crucial number: 11. That's how many women took the stand to testify against the Alexander brothers. And their testimony, well, it became the absolute foundation of the prosecution's case. Every single one of those 11 witnesses told the jury that they had been sexually assaulted by at least one of the brothers. That kind of consistent, powerful narrative from so many different people is ultimately what sealed the deal and led to that guilty verdict. So a guilty verdict has been read. It's official. But believe me, this story is far from over. So what happens now? What's next for the brothers and for the justice system as a whole? Almost immediately after the verdict came down, the U.S. Attorney, Jay Clayton, he made it very clear that for them, this was about more than just this one case. He framed it as a powerful message to the entire community, basically saying that this kind of behavior has no place here and it will be prosecuted to the fullest extent. But as you can probably guess, the defense sees things very, very differently. They went on the offensive right away, vowing to fight this thing tooth and nail. Their attorney was completely adamant, insisting his clients are innocent and promising a long, tough road of appeals. So, just to be super clear, this is not the end of the legal line for them, not by a long shot. While the brothers are now convicted and waiting for their sentencing hearing in August 2026, where, by the way, they could face up to life in prison, their legal team is already gearing up for what is going to be a very long and very complicated appeals process. And that kind of brings us to this final lingering question. The U.S. Attorney says this verdict sends a message. But with years of appeals still likely ahead, what will that message truly be? Will people hear a message of justice finally served, a clear warning to the rich and powerful, or will that message just get completely lost in the noise of a drawn-out legal battle? That is the question that's still hanging in the air.